Hello and welcome to our edition of Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Clarisse Fortuné. Let's start with the headlines. M23 rebels, 4 months after taking control of Goma, are now trying to tackle rampant insecurity in the eastern DR Congo city. Meanwhile, some residents are struggling with post-traumatic stress. Tunisia fell 11 places in the latest RSF World Press Freedom Index as the repression of journalism reaches new heights. Amid this pressure on press freedom, some journalists are trying to resist. And it is known as a catacol. And now the 3-legged stool has been returned to Benin, the missing part from a 27 items collection from the country's cultural treasure, looted during colonial times and kept in a Finnish museum. In DR Congo, hundreds of people have now been arrested during recent AFC M23 operations in Goma. According to the rebel group, these operations aim to combat insecurity and collect weapons still in circulation. For months after the M23 took control of the city. The United Nations for Humanitarian Affairs reported that the level of crime in Goma and DR Congo territory has been alarming. And 4 months after Goma was taken by AFC M23 rebels, some residents are today displaying signs of post-traumatic stress. NGOs like the Red Cross have set up counselling centres offering free and anonymous consultations to support those in distress. A report by Fidel Kitsa, Aurélie Bazaraki-Bangula and Emmett Livingston.
Gaspard, a young entrepreneur, is recycling plastic bottles. He looks intent on his work, but his mind is preoccupied with the violence that occurred in Goma in late January, when Rwandan troops and fighters from the M23 rebel group clashed with Congolese soldiers and their allies on the streets of his neighbourhood.
I've developed a feeling of insecurity and of fear. And as soon as there's a little noise, I panic. What traumatized me is when bombs exploded in some of the houses in the neighborhoods, and we saw some bodies cut in pieces. You had to pick up the pieces to bury the person.
Gaspard is showing signs of trauma. He's not alone. Many in Goma were direct witnesses to the fighting or subjected to sexual violence. Seeking help, some are turning to this new counselling centre, hoping to find a sympathetic ear and to heal invisible wounds. Gloria, an assumed name, has already had 6 consultations.
When I started treatment here, I couldn't even express myself. I had a lot of thoughts in my head that tormented me and prevented me from sleeping. With the medication and counselling, I feel a lot better.
Psychologists at the counselling centre take back-to-back appointments. Between 5 and 10 new patients arrive every day.
The ICRC and the Red Cross have 3 counselling centres for the city of Goma, but that's not enough. Because it's a city of more than 1 million inhabitants. So if a lot of people come, the staff will be overwhelmed. So it's better to increase the number of counselling points.
There are no figures for the number of people suffering from post-traumatic stress in the province of North Kivu. But psychological support is a critical need in violence-torn eastern Congo, where trauma is largely taboo.
Guinea will finally hold presidential elections in December of this year. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Amadou Oriba, who also confirmed that a constitutional referendum was set for next September. Military leader Mamadi Doumbouya, who took power in a coup nearly 4 years ago, had suggested a 2-year transition to elections in 2022, but failed to organize a vote. A draft constitution is said to potentially allow Doumbouya to run in a forthcoming presidential election. Now to Tunisia. The country fell 11 places in the 2025 RSF World Press Freedom Index and now ranks 129th out of 180 countries as the repression of journalism reaches new heights. 3 journalists are currently in detention. They were sentenced separately to prison terms ranging from 8 months to 2 years for their political analysis. Amid this pressure on press freedom, some journalists are trying to resist.
At the Journalists' Union, Murad Zgheidi's family and lawyers addressed media for the first time since his arrest a year earlier.
Now, after 365 days, it's pushed us to react, to break the silence. We believe that this can no longer continue and that this relentlessness needs to stop.
Another court hearing is set for May 15th in a case alleging money laundering. His lawyer claims that Zgheidi's arrest, as well as the arrests of Sonia Dahmani and Borhan Bousaïs, has created a climate of fear for journalists.
We've noticed that since May 11th last year, many journalists have kept silent.
For this report, many professionals who do political analysis refuse to speak with us, fearing reprisals. We met with Amira Mohammed, a journalist at the most popular radio station in the country, Mosaic FM. Even without covering politics, she testifies to the difficulties of practicing her profession.
We have no communication with a government spokesperson or with the President's office, or even with communication teams at ministries. There is a total blackout for access to information for journalists.
The journalist Haytham al-Mekki used to have a widely popular prime-time political satire hour on this radio station. But now he's limited to video criticism on an independent web media.
I think that the kind of political commentary that I did since 2011 isn't acceptable today. There's more and more taboos and things left unsaid, and the media discourse has started to adopt formats acceptable to those in power.
The sad assessment is supported by Tunisia's latest press freedom ranking, according to Reporters Without Borders. In 2025, the country fell 11 places, now 129 out of 180 countries.
Finland has returned a 17th century ceremonial stool to Benin. The stool, known as a catacol, is a three-legged royal chair that was used as a portable noble seat for the king of the Dahomey kingdom, which is now Benin. It was part of cultural treasures looted during colonial times. The stool was part of a collection of 27 items, and France had previously returned the other 26. For Benin Minister of Culture, the restitution will allow the access to the cultural heritage of the people.
Through the signing of the restitution agreement, we wanted to affirm the strength of our shared commitment to encourage the return, circulation and access to the cultural heritage of the people.
Finland is strongly committed to promoting cultural rights, cultural property and the diversity of cultural expressions. The process for returning the royal catacol stool pack to the Benin is an example of the power of modern, rightful cultural policy.
The return of the cataclysm is a symbolic moment for us, Benin, and having exchanged with you, it's a symbolic moment, a significant moment for Finland. But this is only the starting point of an active, intense and strong cooperation, because we believe that Benin and Finland can build something beautiful and grand.
7 years, a major radio telescope project has put South Africa on the map of global astronomy. It's located in a deserted Karoo region where radio waves and cell phone signals are strictly controlled to prevent interference. But the 64 antennas of the Meerkat are just the start of an even bigger project, said to be the world's most powerful radio telescope when it is completed by 2030. Laurent Berstecher has the story.
In the middle of the South African desert, dozens of giant white dishes constantly scan and analyze the movements of distant stars and planets. Together, they form one of the world's largest radio telescopes, the Meerkat, a source of pride for South African astronomers.
Meerkat telescope is an array of telescopes which have been established in the Karoo, which is a world-class site for hosting of radio astronomy facilities. Funded, designed and constructed by South Africa and South African agencies.
Instead of relying on light signals like traditional telescopes, the Meerkat analyzes radio waves emitted by stars and galaxies to map out the universe. Since its inauguration in 2018, the giant telescope has placed South Africa on the map of global astronomy and helped train hundreds of students and researchers eager to push the boundaries of scientific knowledge. Sifo Molefe came here as an electrical engineering student and now operates the telescopes. Every day he investigates radio waves emitted by astral bodies located hundreds of light years away.
Anything that we getting from here is used internationally. So yeah, there's that feeling that we contributing to the bigger and larger environment in terms of information and also development of technology.
As impressive as they already look, the Meerkat's 64 dishes only represent the start of an even bigger vision. A groundbreaking project to link the South African Centre to thousands of antennas located in Australia in order to form the world's most powerful radio telescope.
The prestigious Cannes Film Festival kicked off its 78th edition this Tuesday in the south of France. The jury is chaired by French actress Juliette Binoche, and she's joined by big names in the art world. Among them, Congolese director Dieudo Hamadi. He says he sees his selection on the 2025 Cannes Film Festival jury as recognition for a career spent recounting the traumas of his native Democratic Republic of Congo.
It's more of a recognition for a career, because I've been in this business for over 15 years. And I think that to be on the jury for the official competition at the Cannes Film Festival, you have to have a certain track record. And it's in that sense that it's quite gratifying that I've been selected as a member of the jury for this year. It's very important that we do our bit. Cinema is universal. And it's very good that we're helped and listened to by other cultures, other structures that are not necessarily Congolese, but it's very, very important that the Congolese themselves participate in their imagination, in the creation of their imagination, in the creation of their history and their culture.
Congolese director Dieudo Hamadi to end our edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching. More news coming up on France 24.